Hey folks, I am Asia Branch, your host of Speak On It with Asia. And this episode, I'm not going to keep it too long. I just want it to be brief. Uh, I want to talk about the assassination of that Islamic radical bastard, Baghdadi, however you pronounce his name. First, I want to say congratulations to Mr. President Trump and to the men and women in uniform who executed this perfectly. No loss of life on our side. We should be celebrating the same way we all felt when Osama bin Laden was killed under the Obama administration. We should feel like this amount of weight was lifted from us. But unfortunately, we live in a society today where radical leftist celebrities basically suck all of the energy and the momentum and the happiness and the joy that we as Americans should feel right now, considering one of the worst terrorists in our modern history has been killed, or well, he killed himself by blowing himself up and taking his children along with him. But this episode, unfortunately, can't be about that. I want to talk about those women on The View. First, I want to thank Abby Johnson. And I do want to thank Meghan McCain because she can get on my nerves. She can. To the utmost, she can get on my nerves. But today on The View, her and Abby both found their America First conservative backbone and pushed back on the radicals that are Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin. Let's be clear here, Joy, all right? Trump is in no shape or form anywhere near this bastard, this Islamic radical terrorist, Baghdadi. Trump is not in that realm. So to you, Joy, because you are my elder, I can't tell you to go F yourself. What I can say to you is go find common sense, go find Christ, and go find a way to get the rest of America to forgive you for your comments. How dare you? How dare you? How dare she say anything like that? And Whoopi didn't seem very impressed by her joke when she said, when Whoopi asked her, is the world a better place now that this guy is gone? Joy had the audacity to say, who, Trump or Baghdadi? Whoopi was not impressed, nor was Abby. Sunny made her usual face, and neither was Meghan. And most of the audience probably wasn't either. The freaking stagehand probably turned on the applause sign so the audience would start to applaud. I mean, really, Joy? Really? And to Sunny, all you wanted to do was talk about Donald Trump. That's all you wanted to do. But in this moment, in that segment, that conversation was not necessary at all. You found the worst timing ever to make political comments about a situation that we once experienced back in 2011 when we found out that Osama bin Laden was killed. How dare any of you take that joy away from us? How dare any of you take that victory away from us Americans? For back to back, a few years ago, my sister and my stepfather both came home in tears. In tears. Why? Because some jackass, an Islamic radical, decided he was going to attack the city at some point. Whether it was jumping the curb or trying to blow up the train station. My family was in the city. And both times my family came home in tears because they were missed by that much. By that much. I am pissed. How dare any of them take this joy away from any of us? But to people whose family were either killed or nearly killed because of these evil, radical bastards, for you to take that moment away from us, for you to take a day where we should have been reveling in this kind of moment. I don't give a damn about Democrats today. I don't give a damn about the far left today. Or I shouldn't. No one in America should. I shouldn't give a damn about the Republicans and the stunt they pulled. I don't give a damn about the impeachment inquiry. I don't care about none of that today. Today, we found out that a terrorist who's been terrorizing a whole bunch of infidels across the globe has been slaughtered, maybe by his own hands, but he wouldn't have done it if America didn't put pressure on his ass. It would not have happened without Donald Trump. And who really gives a crap if he thanked Russia? Let's call a spade a spade. If he didn't ask Russia permission for our men to fly over in Russian airspace, Russia would have blew our plane out of the sky before we had a chance to land to catch that bastard. That's why Trump thanked Russia. Not because he's in bed with them, not because he's colluding with them, but because Russia could have simply blown our plane out of the sky because we didn't ask permission. He thanked Russia because they gave us permission to enter their airspace so we can catch that bastard. And the women at The View want to politicize it without even asking for comment from any of the generals who worked hard with the president to make this happen. Then you want to talk about how he'll coordinate with other nations before talking to his own Gang of Eight. Let's be clear. Adam Schiff and the Democrats are leakers. They are leakers. The evidence suggests so. All this information that they're getting about testimony in the private closed door hearings are coming out because of leaks. And so when Trump says I wasn't giving that information to the Democrats, not because I thought they would make him, not because they would make him look bad, but because he knew that the information would be leaked to reporters and reporters would promote it. They would say it on live television and it would have warned that bastard that we were coming. That's why he kept it mum's the word. That's why Trump did what he did. And really, what does it matter who he thanked first? What does it matter who he didn't tell? What matters is that the bastard is dead. That's what matters. That is what matters today. That is it. But of course, the radicals in the media, and it's not just the women of The View either. It's everywhere, with the exception of Fox News and most conservative streaming outlets online. The mainstream media want to downplay the win simply because Trump is the president. But when Obama was the president and conservatives and Republicans couldn't stand his ass, they damn sure celebrated him and his administration and the hard work he put in to catch Osama bin Laden's ass. We praised him for it. Thank you, Mr. President. I may disagree with you with your politics. I may disagree with you on your policies and your punk ass speeches that you give around the world, the apology tours that you take to Africa and to Europe. I may disagree with you there, but kudos to you and hoorah to you and your administration and to our military for catching Osama bin Laden. That is what every conservative and every Republican and even people who couldn't stand Trump on Fox News, like Hannity, they celebrated Obama's mission on catching Osama bin Laden. Why doesn't Trump deserve the same courtesy from the rest of the mainstream media? Well, maybe it's because we know that the mainstream media has been colluding with the criminal Department of Justice and FBI and all of our intelligence agencies under the Obama administration. And so they can't give him a win. And before you get people up here on my page or wherever saying that, oh, it's not true, he calls people fake news because he doesn't like them. Let me be clear. We already have FBI memos that suggest the Associated Press was working with intelligence agencies to target the Trump campaign. So I don't want to hear that you aren't biased. I don't want to hear that you are neutral. I don't want to hear that you didn't that you're playing a role in democracy when all you're doing is causing the very problem that makes it harder for Trump to do his job. And you want to know why he didn't tell the Gang of Eight. The collusion between the Associated Press and dark and dirty politicians and dark and dirty intelligence agents. You want to know why he didn't tell everybody? It's because if he told you, we wouldn't be sitting here today talking about how this bastard Baghdadi is dead. We would not be sitting here celebrating it, talking about this. The women at The View never would have been able to make it political. They want to talk politics, throw cheap shots at the president. Listen, you don't have to like the man, but you can appreciate what he has done. And The View, they are a microcosm for what we're seeing from the rest of the mainstream media. Why can't I accept it more from The View? Because The View are freaking opinion. They're a bunch of women who talk about their feelings. So of course this is their opinion. But even people who say they're journalists can't take their feelings about how they can't stand Trump out of a victory like catching this bastard. I can't stand the women of The View. I can't. It's not the first time I've said it either. I'm over them. I can't wait for them to be shut down. Because if Barbara Walters was still sitting there, she would have held Sunny's ass accountable. She would have held Joy's ass accountable for everything that they just said. Barbara would have done that. Barbara would have. Whoopi's too quick to please the liberal audience and the leftist audience. So she won't say a damn thing, even though her facial expression said it all. Abby and Meghan have a history of backing down, not fighting back. They've lost their conservative backbone by sitting there too long and talking about feelings. But when it came down to this issue, to this big news, they stood their ground. They exuded America First conservative backbone, and they pushed back on Joy Behar's and Sunny Hostin's BS. And it was about damn time. And I'm glad they chose this moment in time to do it. This moment in time. Because all the other issues, like impeachment, that's when I expect the both of them to stand up and say, listen, I don't like the president either. That's what Meghan would say. I don't like Trump either. But this is not a fair inquiry. This is not a fair investigation. Meghan, I expected her to say that. Though she does not like Trump, I expect her to fight a little bit more as a conservative, considering she says she sits there representing an entire part of America that's been forgotten. You've been in New York too long, Meghan. Abby, sitting there for just the little time that she's been there, she's lost her backbone. And certain times where I expect her to hit back hard because a conservative can come up with an argument to push back with these leftists because they have no facts, just feelings, she doesn't either. Because you want to play nice with the liberal audience. You want to play nice with the lefties. That's fine for the most part when you're talking about, millennials or, being stupid again, or you're talking about sex and you guys are conservative, so you get a little bit awkward and uncomfortable. That's fine if you want to talk about your feelings. But when you're talking about issues where facts must come into play first, I expect a conservative backbone. And this was the issue that they needed to do it because Abby was right. Sunny did make a cheap shot towards the president of the United States. Oh, how he thanked Russia first. Lady, if he didn't ask Russia permission to enter their airspace, they would have shot a bird out of the sky like that. And we'd have dead Americans lying over hundreds and hundreds of miles across Europe, across Russia, and perhaps even Syria, simply because we didn't ask permission. He thanked Russia first because in order for us to make a move, we needed Russia to give permission. And let's be clear, does it really matter who he thanked first? Really? Does it matter? The point is the bastard's dead, and a lot of our allies played a role in making it happen. And that includes Russia. That includes Russia. It does. It does. Like, do you really think Obama could have caught Osama bin Laden if he didn't work closely with allies and even with adversaries? Western intelligence had a hard time tracking Osama bin Laden's ass. It took working with allies and trade adversaries like Russia to catch him. No one bitched then. Now all of a sudden we got to bitch. Now all of a sudden we got to complain. Get a grip, lefties. You can't even take the day to just back away from the partisan BS. You couldn't even take the day. The women at The View couldn't even take the day. I mean, Abby did. She did. Meghan didn't. She, after standing up for the conservative argument and trying to celebrate this moment as Americans, of course she said, I really wanted to celebrate this without it being politicized. But of course, Trump politicizes everything. What? So after you stand your ground, you go back to hitting Trump. If you don't like the man, keep him out your mouth. If that's how bad it is. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Today was not the day to complain about Donald Trump. Today was the day to keep your mouth shut about him. Why? Because today is not about him. It should not have been. And that's all The View wanted to do. That's all The View wanted to do. Hell, lefties and even Republicans still give Obama, because I was about to call our previous president Osama bin Laden. They still give him credit for killing him, for him getting killed by our soldiers. We still give Obama credit for that. But we can't take the day to give kudos to the president of the United States. We still can't do that. I'm mad with them. My family was coming home in fear of their lives because they almost died by this much because of those bastards that call themselves ISIS, who are here in our country today. Today they are here. And my family comes home crying. My family comes home in fear of their life. My family treats every day like today is their last because they work in the city and they don't know if they're coming home that day. They don't know. So when I hear our president say that he caught the leader of those bastards who almost killed my family, yeah, I want to celebrate that. But instead, what am I greeted with when I go to scroll to get more information? I'm greeted with The View. I'm greeted with CNN and their BS and how Trump doesn't deserve the credit. Are you for real? Are you for real? Are we supposed to forget the imagery of them setting on fire innocents? Are we supposed to forget the video footage of them cutting people's heads off? Are we to forget all of that simply because Trump is the man that made this happen? Him alongside our allies and the best freaking military in the world? We're supposed to just not pay attention to that because they don't like Trump. Maybe it's because they can afford all of the protection. They can afford all of the celebrities. They can afford all of the, security, the private security that other Americans can't, that my family can't afford. But it was my family that was almost blown up. My family that was almost hit by cars. My family. Hate is a very, very strong word. And considering what we've learned today, I don't think I'll ever say I hate a person ever again. Considering a man who was killed today or yesterday by our men and women in uniform had such hate in him that he was slaughtering millions of people across the Middle East, that the ideology has reached our nation and other allies. I don't think I could ever use that word hate again. But I seriously dislike the women of The View. I do. I really do. And yes, I will give kudos to Abby. And yes, I will give partial kudos to Meghan. But how dare they? How dare they? It's like they forgot what living in fear was like. Like they are all old enough to remember 9/11. I was a child. I was a child when 9/11 happened. I know when the towers went down. I know that they did. I was aware that they did. And when my godmother told me that terrorists took it down, it seemed so impossible as a child for someone to take down a building that looked like it could only have been built by God himself. No, they couldn't. No, they didn't. It's the Twin Towers. Who could take out the Twin Towers? As a child, the Twin Towers were buildings that seemed that only our Creator could have built, and the terrorists took it out. So they remember such hate. They're old enough to recognize such hate. And yet, while talking about a man who exuded hatred, they just showed so much of it, not just for the president, but the hatred that they showed towards Trump today, talking about this victory, shows how much they truly hate conservative and Christian like American first values. Those women hate those values. They do. Abby, no. Meghan, no. Though I have my issues with her as far as conceding so much, but Joy and Sunny Hostin. Because Whoopi can be common sense sometimes. But Joy and Sunny Hostin. Those women hate our country. They hate Trump. And they hate people who have values like us conservatives. They hate. And just because they don't go around killing like that bastard does, they definitely spew it by trying to encourage the audience to enjoy a joke that expresses what? Trump in the same caliber as this bastard. Now, Trump may say things that I dislike. He does. It's why my approval rating for Trump will never go past 85. It's because of his rhetoric that I don't support him a whole 100%. It's because of that. And some of his decisions can be questionable, but he's never been a president. He's never been a politician before. So he doesn't know what kind of backlash he can get by pulling out of Syria or doing certain things as far as foreign policy is concerned. He has to learn as he's making decisions. So that's not what affects my support for this man. It's only his rhetoric. But never, ever, ever did this man ever compare anyone on the left to a bastard like Osama bin Laden, to a bastard like Baghdadi. He's never done that. And so what those women today did, they deserve the utmost scrutiny from everyone and anyone who's willing to do it. And that's why I had to go live today, because that just pissed me off. It pissed me off. Those women aggravate me. They bother me. They bother me. And I swear I want them to be canceled. I swear I want them to. And the only reason why they stay on there is because there's so many leftist idiots in this country who continue to watch their BS. Where's a Barbara? There's not one Barbara Walters sitting at that table. Abby came close today. She came close because she pushed back on Sunny. And she said it's a cheap shot because neither one of them know how this was planned, what actually occurred to make this happen, why they actually kept it quiet from Congress and the Democrats and the Gang of Eight. Not one of them asked that question or requested a general make a presence on their show so they can get the answers. That is what a journalist would say. Sunny, who says that she is I want to, give credit to the people who did this, and I want to pay homage to the families who lost their lives because of this man. But this, that, and the third, and Trump is this, and Trump is that, and he thanked Russia first. Who cares if he thanked Russia first? Who honestly cares how this whole thing got done? Who cares? It got done. It got done. It got done. And all they could do was bitch and moan about Trump. I'm heated, so I was about to say something that wouldn't have been nice. It would have been very, very disrespectful. And those women are my elders. So I'm going to try and show a shred of respect, even though I dislike them so. But all the garbage that they just spewed out, I hope they choke on it. I hope they choke on it, and I hope they get canceled within the next few months. Those comments alone should get them pulled off the air for at least a month and longer. How dare you make this about a man that you don't like? That is not what this was about. All your segments today regarding anything regarding foreign policy should have been benched. Should have been benched. All of it should have been. How you feel about the president's policies should have been benched. How you feel about his rhetoric should have been benched. Anything today regarding what's coming out of this administration, as far as what they're talking about at that stupid ass table of theirs, all should have been about them catching this bastard, Baghdadi. This whole thing, their whole show should have been about that. And their nonsensical topics like sex and whatever they want to talk about. But in between their nonsensical topics and categories, anytime you want to talk about the administration, no, bench it. We talk about how he pulled this off, how this is going to send a message to any other ISIS soldier throughout the planet. That your bastard leader died like a coward because not only did he not stand and fight, he blew him and his children up. But that didn't come up at the table. Joy wants to compare this bastard to Donald Trump, but Trump didn't kill himself or his children. He did not do any of that. This bastard killed his own kids. He murdered his own children. But he's like Trump? Really, Joy? I'm telling you, there's no way that the audience applauded her comment by herself. There has to be a sign that says applaud behind the cameras. There's no way that they applauded that. There's no way that they did. Abby was right. Today was not the day to talk about Trump. It was not. And yet they did. the heaven with joy. Because God seriously has to help her. And Sunny Hostin. And if there is no applaud sign that made the audience applaud, then the heaven with them, because they need serious help. They all do. Because not even they could accept the fact or embrace the good news. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy sailing. I'm not saying that Americans are just automatically going to be safe. That stuff is going to take time. There are ISIS soldiers left to kill, left to deal with. There is radical Islamic terrorism on the rise in our country. And on top of that, you got fascists running around, Antifa, who are joining hands with them, trying to create an armed militia to take out American citizens. So we're not safe like that. But this is something that we should be enjoying, something that we should be coming together on. Again, like I said at the beginning, no one right now, today of all days, should give a damn about partisan politics, should give a damn about this impeachment hearing, should give a damn about anything coming out of the White House or Congress. The only thing that matters today is that we can feel like this huge weight of terror just came off of our shoulders. That America is leading the charge in freeing the world of radical terrorism, whether it be radical Islam or radical leftism. I don't care what radical. America is leading the world in abolishing that type of terror. We are leading the world in that. And it is time that our journalists and our opinion hosts start saying so. But they won't, because they hate Trump. They hate him. Because only hatred could keep them from acknowledging something as great as this. I don't wish death on anyone, but that bastard needed to die. I didn't wish he died. It's just great that he's dead. That's just the fact of it. He is dead, and that is great news. And we should all love that. He can't kill anyone anymore. He can't specifically. Because he's the bastard that was raping and pillaging women when he was holding them hostage. He was the one doing that. He was the one giving the orders to behead people after setting their asses on fire. He was the one that was doing that. Who do you think was peddling those ridiculous, those violent videos on social media that Facebook had to end up pulling down? The one where they were cutting heads off. Yeah, that one. The one that Facebook had to remove. Yeah. It's good news today that bastard is dead, and we should all love that. But they hate him, Trump, so much that it blinds them to such great news. I've already spent 28 minutes on this, and that's really all that I have to say. I was just so pissed, and it needed to be said. That's all I have for you guys. Hopefully I can calm the hell down, because I want to be able to enjoy the news. I really do. I really do. It was so scary when my family was coming home in fear, in tears. My sister calling me when I'm at work and I have to leave my post. I'm sitting at the front desk and my coworker was telling me there's a terrorist attack that happened in New York. I'm like, where in New York? It's near Times Square. My sister calls me right when my coworker says that. I asked my coworker to watch the desk and she's like, I can't right now. I bust out into tears asking her if she can. She's like, what's wrong? I'll let you know. Let me go outside and talk to my sister. Archie, are you okay? What's going on? She doesn't know. The cops aren't telling her anything. She's in fear of her life. A week later, my stepfather's coming home because some bastard jumped the curb and tried to hit him. ISIS was telling their followers to do that. I'm glad the bastard is dead. I'm happy the bastard is dead. Those were the worst 2 weeks of my life. I almost woke up the next day without a twin sister. How dare the women at The View? How dare they? That is my time. I am your host of Speak On It. My name is Asia Branch, and I will talk with all of you a lot soon, real soon. Just try to enjoy the news as much as you can, because tomorrow, the storm that the mainstream media is brewing will get worse. You enjoy the rest of your night.